I think we all know at this point that AJ Terrell just had a stellar season last year. He was great. I think everybody knows that. But I'm going to sit before you and tell you that AJ Terrell had the best season of any cornerback last year. Yeah, I'm talking over Jalen Ramsey. I'm talking over JC Jackson. And I'm talking over Trayvon Diggs. The best cornerback season last year. And the reason I think this is not only because he was super efficient and locked down, but he did it behind the worst pass rush in recent NFL history, really. I'm going to start this off with some stats about their pass rush. The Falcons registered 17 sacks in 2021. That is 12 fewer than the next lowest team, the Eagles, who had 29. The gap between the 32nd ranked Falcons and the 31st ranked Eagles is the same as the gap between the 31st ranked Eagles and the 11th ranked Cowboys, Bengals, and Bills. In the last 5 years, the Falcons are the only team to post a pressure rate below 30%. This can result in plays like this one, where Terrell at the top of your screen has to stick with Stefon Diggs for like a solid 10 seconds, while the line fails to generate even a little bit of pressure on Josh Allen. This is an absolute hell of a throw by Josh Allen, but a great job with Terrell sticking with it and disrupting it at the catch point. Despite the wide receivers having more time to get open and the quarterbacks throwing from unbothered pockets, AJ Terrell was still hyper efficient, allowing a lower EPA per target than any of the other top corners. Check out Terrell's coverage on Corey Davis at the bottom of the screen here on a very long developing route. Corey Davis gets off the line in a hurry, goes upfield. Terrell has very good eyes and hips and footwork and is able to stay on top of him as Corey Davis releases vertically. Corey Davis then really snaps down like he's running a comeback or an out route here. And once again, Terrell's footwork matches Davis perfectly, and he's all over this. But it's a double move. Davis once again starts pushing upfield, and Terrell flips his hips and once again is running with him right in phase, gets his head around to track this ball, and I think Zach Wilson might even be a little lucky that this ball was inaccurate, because I think that AJ Terrell would have had a very good shot at picking this off once he gets his head around there. Here's another high-level coverage rep by Terrell at the bottom of the screen against a very good wide receiver in Terry McLaurin. First of all, I like Terrell's pad level here. I think he's doing a good job staying low in an explosive position, even though he's a taller corner at 6'1". McLaurin starts this route by taking that step outside, trying to get Terrell to shift his weight that way, even flip his hips that way, buy him a little bit of space for when he eventually cuts this inside, but Terrell doesn't bite, flips his hips well, stays in phase. Next part, McLaurin's hauling ass upfield, trying to sell vertical, so Terrell flies by him when McLaurin eventually cuts this back towards the quarterback. But really good agility, twitchiness from Terrell here, stays right with him as he cuts this back, blankets Terry McLaurin throughout this entire route. Great coverage on a very good wide receiver. So he can clearly hold up in man coverage as a twitchy, 6'1" physical cornerback, right? But where I really love to watch him is actually in zone. Like this play, for example, it's cover 2. So we got the 2 high safeties deep, and then these corners have got the flats. First thing he's going to do is reroute McLaurin here. And boy, does he ever. Just totally gives him a massive shove. That actually is a penalty, but this play is so sick that I'm showing it anyway. Gives McLaurin a massive shove towards the sideline, takes him away. Heineke is looking at that like, okay, he's dropping back super far. He's taking away McLaurin. I'm going to hit the flat. And then he triggers on the flat and blows up the running back there and forces this incompletion. I think it's a travesty that this was called illegal touching on Terrell, because I just think this is the sickest play ever. That is physical cornerback play at its finest. Maybe it was a little bit too physical, but he does stuff like this all the time. This might be a better example because it's not a penalty. His spatial awareness is just incredible. Like, first of all, he flips his hips, has his back totally turned to the flat and to Sam Darnold here. So it looks like Robbie Anderson is bracketed here, and both of these corners both of these defensive backs are going to run with him. But his peripheral vision, out of his peripheral vision, he is watching what Sam Darnold is doing, and he is watching where Tommy Tremble is going. And he is actually able to see this developing with his back turned, flip his hips, close this gap, and stop this for a 1-yard gain. And then same deal on this play, right at the top of the screen. Going to flip his hips at the beginning of this play and run with Keelan Cole. Looks like his back is completely turned to what's happening in the flat and what's happening with Zach Wilson's eyes. But he's looking at it out of the corner of his eye there. And most corners right here are just, getting a lot of depth, taking away this corner, and you can hit this flat route right in behind him, but not A.J. Terrell. It might look like he's out of it, but he is very well aware of what's going on behind him. Flips his hips right as Zach Wilson begins his throwing motion, and Zach is lucky that this is a inaccurate ball because Terrell, if this was thrown anywhere in front of that tight end, is returning this for a pick six, no doubt in my mind. Week 2 against the Bucs, he's against Antonio Brown, and he's going to pass him off to the safety right there. Brady will take that hole shot. He's accurate enough to hit it, but Terrell is just kind of baiting him. His eyes are on that football, and then he judges this and is able to rise up, deflect this, and it's an incomplete pass. And if that wasn't impressive enough, it happens again later in this game, also against Antonio Brown. He's going to pass him off to the deep thirds player, but it looks like that safety is going to be a little bit late getting there. It looks like it's going to be a big chunk play for Brady down the sideline, but A.J. Terrell comes flying in like Superman, rising up. This should be the logo of the goddamn league, batting this out of the air and preventing it. Just a crazy athletic, crazy intuitive play from A.J. Terrell. We'll watch it from the end zone angle again because it's just that good. Taking that whole shot, bang. Now, are there any bones to pick with Terrell's game? I think there are a couple. First of all, I think it was a pretty easy schedule for a cornerback to run through this year. We got, Jalen Hurts in Philly, Washington, the Jets, the Dolphins, the Panthers, the Saints, the Patriots, Jacksonville, the Panthers again, Detroit, New Orleans again. These are all pretty mid wide receiving cores and quarterback situations, I would say. So he definitely feasted on some poor opponents, although he played well in the good games that are here, I think. The Falcons' 2022 schedule is not exactly a murderer's row of passing attacks, although it certainly looks tougher than it did last year. So can he keep the pace up against harder teams? The one nit I do have to pick about his game is his tackling. His run support is a little bit dicey at times. It's not the strength I would label it for like Denzel Ward or Jalen Ramsey or Jair Alexander. But the trade-off is elite coverage, and he does a decent job at it. It's not like a glaring weakness, like he can't do it, but it's something that he should definitely still be working on, and you'd like to see improvement in that area next year. But really, Jair and Jalen Ramsey are the only two I would really feel comfortable ranking above A.J. Terrell as pure corners right now. Truly. I mean, his coverage is that good. He was that good this season. He's got all the tools you could possibly want. I don't think it was a fluke. And if he wants to stay in Atlanta, if he stays in Atlanta, he could be a franchise cornerstone there for a very long time and an elite corner for a very long time. He missed the Pro Bowl this year. Total travesty. Absolute travesty that happened. So I'm hoping videos like this one raise his name recognition and allow him to get those accolades that he deserves in the future. So thank you so much for watching this video. Again, tell me how much you liked it in the comments, and also give some suggestions for the next video, preferably on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like I've been doing a lot of offense lately. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for making it to the very end, and I will see you next week.